Talks continue today over how and when he might be reunited with his son. WB Today's David Waters is live in Miami this morning, where this story has residents literally taking sides in the case. David?
Yes, they have, and they've been out here protesting all the while this story is going on. Meanwhile, we've been told that Cuban leader Fidel Castro says a plane is ready and waiting today when Juan Miguel Gonzales is ready to come to the United States. And while everything is quiet in front of the Miami family's home right now, that certainly wasn't the case last night. The arrival of Elian Gonzales' father into the country is imminent, and the level of tension outside Elian's home is rising. Last night, protesters knocked through the barriers and marched right up to the home. Family spokesman Armando Gutierrez calmed them. Inside, Orange County Chairman Mel Martinez was talking to Elian's family.
They're very distressed, and they seem to be running out of options, and they're trying to find a solution that is what they hope would be in the best interest of the child.
The family says they're now hoping Elian's father, Juan Miguel Gonzales, comes to their home away from government control. Cousin Gonzales wants him in their home so they can talk.
She invited the father, if he's coming to this country, to come here, and as a family, to sit down with the boy, to talk to him, and to be here as a family.
The family and the crowds in front of the home are very clear. They don't want to give Elian up. But as the tension level rises, one thing becomes more obvious. There is no easy solution. Now, while the family tells us they don't want to give young Elian up, they say in the end they'll obey the law. Meanwhile, within about 2 hours, the family will again meet with Immigration and Naturalization Service officials to discuss giving Elian over. They realize they might have to do this in the end, and if they agree to give him over peacefully to the father, Juan Miguel Gonzales, then Juan Miguel says he will keep the boy in the country until the family's matter can be resolved in federal court. That's the latest live from Miami. David Waters, WB Today.
David, quick question for you. Where's Elian in all of this? What's he saying?
I'm sorry, we've lost you there. Can you try that one more time?
Where is Elian in all this? Has he been saying anything, or is he just being kind of shuffled?
No, unfortunately, we're not able to hear you there. Sorry.
Okay, my apologies. Thank you very much. It's too bad.
The news: the father of Elian Gonzales could arrive in the United States today. David Waters is in Miami and has the very latest for us. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Carlos. First, let's bring you up to date on the cousin of young Elian Gonzales. Gonzales, it seems, fainted a little bit earlier today. She was giving interviews at a local restaurant, La Carreta, in Miami, just short distance away from here, when she became faint and put her head in the lap of a friend shortly after headed off to the bathroom. Well, she was taken to a local hospital, Coral Gables, where she is being treated and was given oxygen. Meanwhile, the protesters here have started gathering this morning. Last night, though, things got very heated. In fact, many of the protesters around 10:30 at night broke through a barrier here, great concern to police. It took a family spokesman coming out, Armando Gutierrez. He came out and calmed the crowd down, talking to them for a while. Meanwhile, in Cuba, Cuban President Fidel Castro has said there is a plane ready and waiting for the family of young Elian Gonzales' parents. They have 6 visas approved by the U.S. State Department, and their arrival in the U.S. is imminent. Now, we did hear from the family, and they said they will cooperate with authorities, but they really do want to keep Elian.
If you send Elian back to Cuba, he's gonna be tortured. Is that what the American people are gonna allow? Because that will come out on TV. And we'll see the torture that they're going to do to him in Cuba, how they're going to brainwash him.
Well, talks do resume within an hour here in Miami over the family and the Immigration and Naturalization Service. They are trying to discuss the peaceful handover of Elian to the father, Juan Miguel Gonzales, who is expected later today in the United States, possibly. Now, depending on if the family does agree to that, Juan Miguel has said that he will allow young Elian Gonzales to stay here in the United States until the family resolves their issue with the U.S. Federal Appeals Court. We'll just have to wait and see for that. That's the latest live from Miami. Now back to you in Los Angeles.
Yeah, just how long that stay would be is anybody's guess. Okay, thanks very much for that.
And now our top story local.
To the U.S. any time now, but the question, how will he and his son be reunited? Immigration officials are working on those plans right now. WB Today's David Waters is live in Miami. David.
Good morning, Laura. And in fact, those talks will resume shortly, but let's first bring you up to date on what has happened to young Elian Gonzales' cousin, Gonzales. Now, she was taken to the hospital a short time ago where she fainted. Basically, she was giving interviews to local media members at a nearby restaurant, La Carreta, when she had a fainting spell, had to put her head in a friend's lap. She was taken to nearby Coral Gables Hospital and was given oxygen by paramedics and probably will be okay. Meanwhile, the protesters are starting to gather here this morning in Miami in front of Elian Gonzales' house where we are. And in fact, last night it got a lot more heated out here when some protesters broke through the barriers. That was around 10:30 last night, and police were very concerned at that point, and they basically came out to try and get those folks away. It took the family spokesman Armando Gutierrez to actually calm the family down. Meanwhile, Cuban President Fidel Castro has said there's a plane ready and waiting for the family of Elian Gonzales, Juan Miguel Gonzales, and a party of 5 to head to the United States when they are ready to. 6 passports have been authorized by the United States State Department. And meanwhile, the family of Elian Gonzales here said while they will cooperate with the law, they do want to keep young Elian.
If you send Elian back to Cuba, he's going to be tortured. Is that what the American people are going to allow? Because that will come out on TV, and we'll see the torture that they're going to do to him in Cuba, how they're going to brainwash him. Is that what this country is all about?
Now, talks do resume within the hour between the family members and the Immigration and Naturalization Service. They are planning on discussing the peaceful handover of Elian to the father. Now, if that is done, Juan Miguel Gonzales' spokesman says that Juan Miguel will leave young Elian in this country until the family's matter can be taken up with the U.S. federal court. That's the latest live from Miami. Now back to you.
David, can you tell me why is Mr. Gonzales going to Washington instead of Miami?
Well, we have not been told actually when he is going to head in that direction, but he has been welcomed here by the family. The family has said he doesn't need to do that. No doubt he will be discussing with authorities in Washington the matter there. But the family, in fact, said last night to a spokesman that they are more than willing to have Juan Miguel come here and talk to them inside the house.
David Waters is in Miami and has the very latest for us. Good morning, David.
Good morning. In fact, we've been told that there is a plane ready and waiting in Cuba. Juan Miguel Gonzales' visa, along with 5 other family members, have been approved by the U.S. State Department. In fact, Juan Miguel, his wife, child, cousin, a pediatrician, and a teacher are all approved to come to the United States. Let's also mention one other sidebar topic here. Marislesis Gonzales, the cousin of young Elian Gonzales, she fainted a little bit earlier today and is now being treated in a local hospital. She was giving media interviews at a local restaurant, La Carreta, when she fainted and was taken off. Now she is being treated, given oxygen. She will be all right, though. Meanwhile, the protesters are starting to gather here this morning, and while everything has been peaceful now, yesterday it got very heated. Many of the protesters broke through the gates at 10:30 last night, coming right up to the front of the house. They had to be calmed down by the family spokesman, Armando Gutierrez. Later, the cousin, Marislesis, came out and talked to everyone and made an impassioned plea for young Elian. They were saying that while they do want to cooperate with law enforcement authorities, they still want to keep Elian in the country.
If you send Elian back to Cuba, he's going to be tortured. Is that what the American people are going to allow? Because that will come out on TV, and we'll see the torture that they're going to do to him in Cuba, how they're going to brainwash him.
Now, talks will resume within the half hour here in Miami, and the family will be talking to the U.S. Immigration Service, basically talking about the peaceful handover of young Elian to the family, to Juan Miguel Gonzales. Now, if that happens, if they do negotiate a peaceful handover, Juan Miguel says he will allow young Elian to stay in the U.S. until his family, Miami family, has their case heard by the U.S. Court of Appeals. That's the latest live from Miami. Let's go back to you.
David, I'm just a bit confused now. Is Elian's father going to Miami, or is he going to Washington or New York? Where's he planning to go?
Well, we've been told that he may go to Washington, D.C., although that hasn't come down yet when he will be leaving or if that will happen. What we do know for certain is that there is a plane ready, according to Cuban President Fidel Castro, and that the visas for him and the other 5 family members have been approved.
David Waters, thank you very much. Reporting live from Miami. Sure.
Well, we have breaking news at this hour. The search is on for a missing 11-year-old boy who failed.
Elian Gonzales says the boy has begged her not to let his father take him back to Cuba. He could arrive in the U.S. as early as today. Let's go to David Waters live in Miami for the very latest on what's going on there. David, good morning.
Right, and what we've been told is that there is a plane ready to go in Cuba. Cuban President Fidel Castro says that is ready for Juan Miguel Gonzales and his family to go. Meanwhile, the U.S. State Department has granted the approval for 6 visas for Juan Miguel, his wife, a cousin, a baby, a teacher, and a pediatrician to come. We don't know at what point, though, they might come. Meanwhile, one of Elian Gonzales' family members has fallen a little bit ill. Marislesis Gonzales had to be taken to a hospital a little bit earlier today. Now, she had been talking to reporters at a local restaurant when she became very faint and put her head in a friend's lap. That is when she was taken to a local hospital in Miami, Coral Gables, where she is being treated and was given oxygen for that. She's had a very rough time and many times talking to the media from late night to early morning, so obviously somebody who is very tired. She did talk to us last night, though, and told us she was very frustrated.
It's not fair. You're not playing with a toy. He's a human being. He is not a toy. His mom died for him to live in freedom. And now, his mom is dead.
Now, the protesters are continuing to gather here.